Welcome back. Is India's constitution under attack? Is the BJP trying to alter the constitution? Well, amid those questions being raised by the opposition today, Prime Minister Modi accused the opposition of resorting to fear-mongering. His counter comes after several leaders within the India bloc, including Rahul Gandhi, repeatedly claimed that BJP would attempt to drastically change the constitution, that democracy would be in danger if BJP is voted to power for a third term. Prime Minister Modi today asserted that no one can change the very nature of the constitution. While those political fireworks erupted, let's not forget constitutional changes have been made in the past. They are hardly rare in India. The Indian constitution, in fact, has been changed over 100 times since its adoption. So then, is the opposition guilty of scaremongering in election season? That's the question we ask on Brass Tacks tonight.
The RSS and the BJP are trying to destroy India's constitution and change India's constitution. The Congress Party and the India Alliance is trying to save the constitution of India.
देश की युवा पीढ़ी को देश की गौरवशाली संविधान के निर्माण की प्रक्रिया, उसके अध्याय, उसका महत्व बताएंगे। संविधान दलित, पिछड़ा, आदिवासी की ताकत बना रहे, इसके लिए हमें एकजुट होकर साथ खड़े रहना है।
Joining me on this debate, National Spokesperson Nalin Kohli, Mahima Singh, spokesperson of the Congress, joins us as well. Let me open this up by asking spokesperson of the Congress. Mahima Singh, several changes have been made in the constitution in the past as well, most of which happened during the Congress's time, given how much time the Congress has been in power. Then why rake up this change in constitution or altering the constitution drastically against the BJP? Why this allegation now? Mahima Singh? We'll try and reconnect that line with Mahima Singh of the Congress, but Nalin Kohli continues to be with us. Nalin Kohli, we've heard the kind of fireworks that have happened on both sides. The Prime Minister has made the stance of the BJP clear today, but there were several leaders of the BJP, including a former Union Minister, Anant Hegde, who had come out and made these statements. Do you think that's perhaps what gave ammunition to the opposition?
No, I don't think so, because that was clarified at that time only. We need to understand the constitution, and if you'll permit me as an advocate to just bring a few points. As Indian citizens, irrespective whether we are in the BJP, Congress or any other political party, we have certain rights. Those rights also include the freedom of expression and speech. So in this case, Mr. Hegde exercised that expression of freedom of expression and speech. But that was not the party's line. The party made it clear immediately. Now let's come to the constitution. As you correctly pointed out, about 105 constitutional amendments have taken place. The first one in 1951 even amended Article 19, which is freedom of expression and speech, by when Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister of India. Reasonable restrictions were brought onto speech. It was not an absolute right. So therefore, does that mean that the Congress party decided to cut down on freedom of speech? So these are arguments that Mr. Rahul Gandhi and others try to manufacture to build a narrative or to build a tagline for maybe the campaign of the day. They are not bound by any facts. Where is the BJP tinkering with that? When a constitutional change happens, it happens because a need is felt for something, like the 73rd Amendment or Panchayati Raj 74th. All of these amendments are brought in by Parliament, which includes all political parties. The problem that today is happening in the country is that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is the anointed leader, selected leader, anointed leader of the Congress party. There is a whole mechanism of script writers perhaps who come out with a statement that this is what you should say. But when he today raised the question of the constitution being in danger, nobody perhaps advised him that he scored a self-goal. Because the only time the Constitution of India has been under threat was in 1977 and 1975 for 19 months when Shrimati Indira Gandhi, and we do know that late Shrimati Indira Gandhi, Prime Minister of India, how she's related to Mr. Rahul Gandhi. When Srimati Indira Gandhi imposed emergency, fundamental rights which are guaranteed under Part 3 of the Constitution, all of them were suspended. Every opposition leader was thrown into jail, kept in jail for 19 months. People, innocent people went into jail. Atrocities happened. The press was censored. Those were the dark days of democracy. Now when he or the Congress or anyone does go out and say that the Constitution is in danger, so what do they talk about this dark period from 1975 to 77, 19 months? The celebration of constitutional values by the Congress party when it was in power. So it's a classic self-goal in trying to come up with a statement probably written by some marketing person.
Mahima saying, if you heard what Narendra Modi was saying, the Congress is no one to lecture the BJP or anyone for that matter as far as upholding constitution is concerned, because the Congress government was the one that gave India emergency.
Jai Hind. I could hear somewhat because there was a network glitch. When I was reconnected, I heard somewhat. But you see, when you talk about fear-mongering, when the word is uttered, it is the BJP that has much to answer. When the Prime Minister speaks like a tyrant in saying that he's not here to scare anybody and nobody needs to be scared. I heard Mr. Kohli was talking about emergency. So even during the emergency or, before that or after that, can you recount if there is a Prime Minister who would have not done a press conference for 10 years, for so long as their term was? Across democratic countries, can you recount any Prime Minister who's not addressed the press for 10 years, that long a tenure? Any Prime Minister who denies plurality in a democratic country? Any Prime Minister who only talks about ek akela sab par bhari, main, it's all about his ego, and which is why he says no need to be scared. All the BJP needed to do today was to say that our MPs have actually gone wrong in saying that we won't reframe the Constitution. Neither the Prime Minister denied, nor the BJP spokesperson here will deny in clear-cut words.
He did actually. He did at the beginning when your network was lost. He did at the beginning that these leaders have come out and clarified that's not the party line. The BJP is very clear on that.
But you see what they are doing when they are speaking like that we need 400 plus, 3 MPs in 3 different states at 3 different stages. One actually said that before his ticket was announced, and then it was denied later on. Then Jyoti Mirdha and now Lalu Singh. That is their secret plan, and that is what they are set out to do. Everybody knows that by now, and we have seen how they have spuriously amended the laws in the past. You say that it is the Congress who has effected most of the amendments. That is because we have ruled. That is because we have ruled the country for the longest years so far after the freedom was achieved. But what about the BJP? You see, they suspend the most number of members of parliament. They mute the mics in the parliament. They pass the bills, in a very unscrupulous manner. We are gasping for oxygen during COVID, and there is the BJP bringing a farm laws bill through backdoor.
But why do you say these bills are passed? These bills are passed spuriously or not in means that are meant to be. They are passed in Parliament. Many of the times when these bills are put to vote, unfortunately, the opposition members of Parliament have walked out.
Let me say, because electoral bonds, we have seen the fate electoral bonds has met at the hands of the Supreme Court. It was brought as a money bill. It should have been discussed. Something like an electoral bond, which will have all the stakeholders on the same table, should have been discussed by all the stakeholders, but it wasn't. It was brought by the way of a money bill. Similarly, farm bills. Similarly, the 100th Amendment where GST was, implemented in a wrongful manner. So everything that this government does is so secretive.
Sure. So the allegation,
take opposition on record. They don't want to take opposition in confidence. Whether it is China today, you see, Sonam Wangchuk is protesting in Ladakh, but the government doesn't want to talk about it. So Constitution is something, although they won't be able to touch it because the forefathers have had a very deep vision in designing it. But the BJP's plans are very nasty and notorious. The Prime Minister only is set out to rule this country till 2047 by himself. He doesn't believe in democracy. He believes in autocracy. That is what he walks, talks, eats every day.
Sure, these allegations have been made by the Congress and many others in the opposition for numerous occasions now. that democracy is under danger. We've had Rahul Gandhi say this multiple times as well. But Nalin Kohli, the allegation against the BJP is that sure, these bills have been passed and these constitutional amendments have been made because of a stamp of approval from the parliament, but all of these bills were brought in via the back door.
So I heard Mahima ji very carefully, the Congress spokesperson, and I was trying to, in my limited manner, try to understand what is the link between emergency and the Prime Minister hasn't done a press conference like other Prime Ministers. I really tried my best to try and find whether there was a link on an argument that says that when the Congress party's top leader, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, says the constitution is in danger and forgets about emergency, and when in my capacity as a BJP spokesperson, when I raise that the only time the constitution was in danger was during emergency imposed by Shrimati Indira Gandhi, directly from the Nehru Gandhi family, the grandmother of Rahul Gandhi ji. When every leader was put in jail, the answer actually was Prime Minister hasn't done press conferences. The latest, of course, was the media interaction of the Honorable Prime Minister with ANI News Network. I mean, he's had several interactions, but I don't expect the Congress party to really want to listen to it because they are so focused on what Mr. Rahul Gandhi says, and after which how many of them have to come out and clarify what he has said. So this is a Congress narrative. They are entitled to build a political narrative. The facts are not with them. The Constitution, in fact, the preamble was amended also by the Constitution, by the Congress party, which is the 46th Amendment. So there are questions about that also. Could you have in the basic structure gone ahead and amended the preamble? But these are larger legal questions. We don't need to go here. The fact of the matter is, let's go into the election on why this statement perhaps has come from Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Basically, in this election, there are two things that the BJP is banking on. Prime Minister Modi's leadership, his popularity, and the fact that as the Pradhan Sevak, as he calls himself, he's delivered. And the second is the agenda and the performance of the government, which means the track record. On both, there is a serious problem that the Congress party has. Because 10 years of Narendra Modi ji's government is perhaps equal to 55 years that the Congress was in government. So if I just pick up, say, national highways, 91,000 kilometers of national highways existed in India when Prime Minister Modi became Prime Minister, which means including all the Congress regime. And today they are about 1,46,000 kilometers, which means 50% of the highways built in India, 50,000 kilometers, is more than 50% of the highways built by the Congress party in 70 years.
Sure.
It's a lot of work. So I mean, basically they don't have a positive narrative. Whether it's toilets, whether it is bank accounts, whether it is anything, gas connections, railways, metro, airports, 74 to 150, there is a track record.
Sure.
On the other side, you have
it's the NDA track record
India
versus
Alliance
the
crafted.
UPA.
One minute.
Sure. Yeah, we're talking about track records here, but I have limited time. Yes, I have limited time. Narendra Kohli, 30 seconds if you could finish your point, and I can get into Mahima as well.
Sure. 30 seconds is the crux of it is Mr. Rahul Gandhi is unable to either come out with something to say on leadership or performance. Therefore, you pick up an obscure concept, like India is like a beehive, like the escape velocity of Jupiter. So you pick up another one, potato you put in, you get gold. So the new one now is constitution is in danger. So I mean, you just manufacture a line, and then the whole Congress party has to scramble, literally scramble, all spokespersons everywhere, to try and explain it when the facts don't count up to this sentence.
This is just rhetoric, Mahima Singh. This is just a narrative that the opposition led by the Congress is trying to spin, because can the Congress actually deny, sure, you said yes, we've made all the amendments because we've been in power for much longer than anybody else. But can the Congress deny that you also did bring in an amendment in the Constitution which ensured that the Prime Minister and several other elected representatives would not be brought under the scrutiny of Indian courts? This was done during the emergency.
Poonam, I was hearing the BJP spokesperson, Mr. Kohli, was talking about, us desperately looking for a narrative. I would, straightforwardly deny that. And I'm prompted to say here that it is not the Congress or it is not our revered leader, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who brought up the constitution narrative. It is their MP first, Anant Hegde, then Jyoti Mirdha, then Lalu Singh, who repeatedly, one after the other, you see, and that cannot be a mistake. A mistake happens once. If one after the other, the public representative are speaking like isn't as Jyoti Mirdha is speaking that they are here to reframe the constitution. That's why they want 400 plus. It's not a mistake. It is a plan. It is a mission, and it is out there in public. Mr. Rahul Gandhi just reiterated it for everybody to know and see, those who may not have heard, those MPs. And
Sure.
the BJP did not rectify it once, twice. And now when it has happened the third time, the BJP is desperately looking for somewhere to hide, which is why the Prime Minister is now coming out and saying in a very planned, orchestrated ANI interview, which by no means can be counted as a press interaction, because you and I know very well, you are a very seasoned journalist and you would agree, in a press interaction, the press freely asks questions which the BJP doesn't believe in. Freedom of press is like an alien concept to the BJP, because that is why in the last 10 years...
The freedom of press argument that you are using is the freedom of speech argument that the BJP was using when they...
20-second counter.
Yes, I'll come to you, Nalin Kohli, but Mahima Singh, yes, I'll come to you, Nalin Kohli, but Mahima Singh, you still haven't answered my question. You say the constitution is under attack now because of the comments that have come to the fore from certain BJP leaders. Was the constitution not under attack by the acts of certain Congress leaders and Congress governments in the past?
Congress governments, one is Poonam, once and for all, will the BJP stop crying foul because we have apologized for emergency, the wrong that was done? Will the BJP apologize for Mahatma Gandhi's assassination and 2002 Godhra? They will not. They will say we have gotten a clean chit after 20 years of the incidents. What about those 20 years? Did the BJP apologize before this country in those 20 years? They did not. We did what we needed to do. The BJP has imposed an undeclared emergency on this country, and we are all bearing the brunt of it, so that we don't. 2024
Unfortunately, I'm completely out of time, but Nalin Kohli, 20 seconds before I wrap this up. You had
one sentence, only one sentence, only one sentence, only one. Because Mahima ji has made an argument that 3 BJP leaders spoke and came up with this sentence, so this is the BJP line. That's the crux of our argument. One Kerala leader, senior leader of the Congress party in the last election called Mr. Rahul Gandhi a joker. So would that mean that the Congress party considers Rahul Gandhi a joker?
Yes, Mahima Singh.
3 leaders, one after the other.
Sure.
It's not a one-off incident. 3 leaders, one after the other.
I'm using the logic.
No,
I'm just simply pointing out your logic that how it fits with your own leaders.
There are multiple comments like this that have been made by Congress leaders, and the Congress has distanced themselves from it. But talking about the constitution, is it really in danger or not, or is this just political rhetoric that we see in election season? Unfortunately, I have to leave it at that. I thank you both for joining us here on this broadcast. It's a wrap from my side. Thank you so much for tuning in.